Time now for weather with Nebraska Extension Ag Climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. Al, sunny but still a bit chilly this week. Pretty stable weather pattern though, with no major systems moving through. What can we expect coming up?
Well, Troy, we did have basically what I would call just kind of an average week. If you took the temperatures on the high side and the low side and basically averaged them all together, we came out normal. But we've seen some extreme changes in temperature, particularly when we moved from Tuesday to Wednesday when we've seen that cold front blow through the state. Temperatures dropped off rapidly, and of course we've seen the very high winds that are associated with that. And then of course Thursday morning we've seen those lows dropping in the sub-zero range across a substantial portion of eastern Nebraska. So very strong wind chills in the 20 to 30 below range. Made a very miserable day, but we actually rebounded pretty well considering how far we dropped in the temperatures on Thursday, and we got up into the teens with a relaxation of winds during the afternoon. And then of course yesterday we basically seen the temperatures rise up to near the normal range, and we'd actually have a halfway decent weekend in store for us, and that might actually hold us into at least the first half of Monday before we start to worry about things going downhill rather rapidly as we get another shot of cold air moving into the region. So looking at the upper air model, the little wave that moved through during the overnight hours is now past to the east of us. We're going to get kind of a downsloping westerly flow from the mountains, and that should be a compressional heating, give us some warmer temperatures. Basically looking at the low to mid 40s across a lot of the state. We do show some low pressure developing at the surface in eastern Colorado. Most of the precipitation, though, is going to remain in the northern Rockies and the northern plains. As we go into tomorrow, we get a much more stronger zonal flow, and it looks like to be the warmest day of this next 3 days as we see surface lows trying to develop along the front range of the Rocky Mountains, but there's really no overall push of moisture. So most of the activity is up into the Pacific Northwest and the northern Rockies, and we're pretty free of any precipitation in the central plains. By Monday, we see this trough starting to develop into the southwest, and that's going to start to shoot out some warmer air to the south of us, and low pressure starts to develop in the Texas Panhandle, and that's going to help push moisture up toward the north. But the Bain energy is so far southwestward that we're not going to really see much of it in Nebraska coming to our north and northwest. But by Tuesday morning, the front, basically the jet stream moves across the southern portion of the state with that low kind of riding along that jet stream. We should start to see some precipitation break out, particularly northern Kansas and the border region. But it looks like the best accumulating snowfall will be in the southwest. Now as we get into Wednesday, we start to see the ridge rapidly returning, so we're going to start to see temperatures warm up as the high pressure moves to our southeast. We will start to see a warming trend as winds start to shift around toward the west-southwest, but most of the precipitation will remain to our south as that cold air focuses some convection and some snow accumulations in Texas. And we see that low still sitting out there. We get a southwest flow, so we're going to continue to see some of the warmer air moving into our region. But once again, we're kind of constrained somewhat with that low outbout in the southwest. We're really not getting the moisture and trained up into our region. It's going to stay into the southwest at least through Thursday. On Friday, we start to see the system ejecting out, and the big question is it going to move toward the northeast or is it going to move straight eastward? And right now, the models, at least from the GFS point, take it more of an easterly track. That means the low in Texas will generate precipitation to the east, a little bit in the southern Rockies in the form of rainfall, and kind of missing our region. If this moves a little bit farther to the north, then we would see much more broader expansive rainfall across south central and southeastern Nebraska. Now going a little bit farther down the road, you notice this big above normal temperatures. I talked about this last week. It does look like high pressure will move in, and we are going to see a warming trend, particularly as we get around the 22nd and 23rd. So from next Thursday to the following Tuesday, above normal temperatures for most areas from Nebraska eastward, below normal in the southern Rockies. In terms of precipitation, of course, with the high pressure aloft, we're going to be looking at below normal precipitation across most of Nebraska, and it does look like, once again, another nice weekend as most of the heavy precipitation remains to our south and to our east. So Troy, overall, we're going to have a fairly nice weekend, and then we start to see conditions deteriorate somewhat as we get into Monday and Tuesday as colder air starts to work its way into the region, and then we'll see a nice gentle warm up as we go to the end of next week, and potentially as we get into next weekend of another nice weekend in store.